Hey everybody, today I'd like to give you a quick introduction to Real Liquid X, which is my latest package on the Unreal Marketplace. So what is Real Liquid X? Real Liquid X is a material-based effect that simulates liquid. So as you can see here, it's perfect for weapons, for bio grenades, for amulets, for potions, for your props, for spells, for anything where you want to add a bit of motion and a bit of realistic fluid to your objects. So to get started, what you'll want to do is in the folder structure here, you want to come in and right click on the master material and create a material instance. I've already created one here, so I'm not going to do that step. Secondly, you want to import your mesh. Now, when creating your mesh, you want to create it in such a way that you have the outer shell of your object and you have an inner lining which you'll assign to Real Liquid X, the material. Actually, the material instance you just created. Excuse me. So, to show you what that will look like, I'll assign a glass material to the outside, and then you can see the inside. That's what you'll assign Real Liquid X to. So, without further ado, I'm just going to remove that and bring in our Liquid X motion blueprint. So to get started, you want to bring in an instance of the BP Liquid X motion blueprint, and then let's open it up to edit. When you first open it up to edit, you may be in the event graph. If you are in the event graph, just switch over to the construction script tab here. And in the top left-hand corner here, you want to click on Liquid X container. This is just your mesh, whatever you're going to use to contain your liquid. As you can see here, I have Flask, and then here are the material element IDs that are associated with the flasks. So you can see element 0 is glass, element 1 is that inner layer I was speaking about earlier, and element 2 is just the cork. So here you want to assign the material instance that we just created, and then you want to note the element ID number to insert into the construction script. Here, element index 1, that's what it is for me. Okay, so that's pretty much all you need to do on the blueprint setup side of things. Let's just close that down. So, there's two ways that you can run Real Liquid X. You can run it just as a material-based effect, or you can run it as a blueprint-driven material-based effect also. So the simplest way to run it is just as a material effect. So let me open up that material instance I just created. As you can see here. So I have quite a number of parameters. You can play around with these and get different effects, see what best suits whatever you're working on. I'm just going to go through a few of them quickly. So the main one you want to set up first will be are you running in material only mode? If you're running in material only mode, you're not going to be using blueprints at all, therefore it's a bit lighter on performance. The blueprint itself is not incredibly complex, but if you do just want to run it without any physics interaction, then you can run it in material only mode. I'll show you what that looks like now. So if we just click it on, we can see it fires into action. Now this is running only in material. can adjust the X wobble amount and the Y wobble amount. I find a mix of both gives a more realistic feel, but you can play around with if you wanted to wobble faster or slower or more to one side or whatever you want. I'm just going to tone that down a bit. Okay, so this is it running in material only mode. You can play with things like the foam color. You can play around with the foam darken exponent, which is the side of the foam here, how dark it is. You can play around with the fill height. Don't forget guys, I haven't even pressed simulate yet, so this is all just running in editor at the moment. You've got bubble texture, which you can see down here. You can set the scale of that if you want finer bubbles. It's all projected in world space, so it's all world aligned, so just slap a basic UV on your mesh and you're good to go. Of course, you've got your liquid fill height, which you can fill up, which also pushes the foam up. Just going to lower that foam fill height a little bit. You've got this outer rim light, which you can adjust. You've got the amount of glow it provides. You've got the global emissive boost, which you can pump right up. Kind of depends what effect you're trying to create. Maybe something radioactive, I don't know. If you want to play with something a bit more fancy or something a bit more exciting, you can turn on the liquid color cycling. This cycles the liquid color as well as the foam color, which is quite a cool effect. I quite like that. Okay. You've got other motion parameters as well, like the speed the bubbles rise. You've got your foam latency, so you kind of notice, I just set this to 0. When your liquid goes side to side in real life, the foam will be more latent than liquid. It'll kind of lag behind a bit. So as you can see, the area when the foam goes up here, when the liquid goes up here, gets smaller, and it kind of stretches out more down here. You can affect that. And then you've got the sign strength and whatnot of that. But play around. Find a mix that best suits what you're trying to achieve. I've created a few different ones. Like I showed you before, I've got a biogrenade. It's got black foam on top because it's toxic. There's a test tube as well in here. All these assets are included in the pack. You can play around with them to your heart's content. Now I'm going to show you the blueprint side of things. So say you want to simulate this in-game. It could be in VR or in an RPG or whatever you want. So you want to run it by blueprint mode. So let's just minimize that material instance. You can see in here, in the details of the blueprint, you've got simulate physics. You've got your velocity raw range. Now you'll get this number by debugging your raw velocity, which means you'll turn this on, hit simulate, shake your container, and then check the log for your maximum velocity that's printed out, and then you'll input that number here. You've got your liquid cooldown velocity, which is how long it takes for the liquid to return to no movement. You've got your threshold when that triggers the liquid cooldown. You've got your cooldown time, and you've got your alternate axis. You may want to add a bit of X if you're shaking it in the Y direction, or a bit of Y if you're shaking in the X direction. So I'm just going to leave it on simulate physics, and let's get simulating. So as you can see, rolls over, and if I shake it on the X axis, if I grab it and shake it on the X axis, it's shaking on the X axis, but it still has 25% Y movement as well, just to add a bit of randomness to it. And you can play around with this to your heart's content. This will always stay world aligned. So yeah, that's kind of a general introduction to Real Liquid X, which is now available on the Unreal Marketplace, has been approved by Epic and checked thoroughly by myself. Yeah, check it out. Any comments or suggestions, please drop them down in the comment section below, and check the link in the description below for the marketplace. Thanks.